We'll discuss today the idea of Kitniyot on Pesach. We know that there's an idea of chametz. We spoke about it already. That's the 5 grains, what we call browse. The 5 grains, that the acronym for them are browse, barley, rye, oats, wheat, spelt. Those, the items that mix with water, that produce, that outcome, if it's together more than 18 minutes, becomes chametz. That we know, chametz, that's not what we're discussing. There's a separate category now called kitniyot, so we translate to legumes, that many have the minhag to refrain from eating. So let's discuss those very briefly and what some halachot that pertain to that are. First and foremost, kitniyot that are, for example, rice, different types of legumes, hummus, types of things like that, peas, different types of beans. These items, has to be made very clear, are not chametz whatsoever. You can mix them with water for as long as you want. They will never become chametz. Everyone agrees it's not a Sepharadim Ashkenazi thing. This is with the Gemara. The Gemara talks about stories of they would bring rice and eat rice on Pesach. The Rishonim talk about it. So we know very clear that these things are not chametz. So why are so many people strict with them? So because practically speaking, very often these items were either sold in the market together, or it's hard to differentiate between wheat kernels and rice kernels and rice. Therefore, for whatever reason it was, the minhag developed by many Ashkenazim and by some Sepharadim to refrain from eating these kitniyot. But no one can ever tell you that they're chametz. They're not chametz. The Gemara has stories of them eating it. There are many prominent Ashkenazi rabbis in the Rishonim, the Rosh, the Mordechai, that talk about eating chametz and make fun of the minhag of kitniyot, which proves that they would actually eat these as well, and they were Ashkenazi as well. But it doesn't matter. The minhag is the minhag, and many have the custom to refrain from doing so. So for us, who don't have the minhag, the mishayos are unique. We obviously eat rice, but many other of the legumes, of the peas, of the types of the beans that we put in the choresh, we are strict with. But again, that's a minhag by minhag situation. Halachically speaking, everything kitniyot are mutar for Sepharadim. Communities have customs, varying customs to be strict. But first and foremost, when it comes to the kitniyot that we do eat, because of the fear that wheat or anything else can mix into it, for that reason the minhag is to check the rice beforehand. Historically, minhag has been for 3 times. Rabbi Chaim explains that in America even, it's impossible. You'll never find a kernel of wheat in a bag of rice. So if you check your rice once, it's also okay. But the minhag is 3 times to check the rice very carefully to make sure there are no wheat kernels mixed in. Ashkenazim, however, they are strict by kitniyot, and they don't eat any kitniyot. Anything that kitniyot related, legume related, they refrain from eating and they don't eat. But even for them, Rav Ovadia explains that Ashkenazi who has young children, they won't eat otherwise. They may feed their young children kitniyot foods, because if they're picky, they won't eat. You don't have to make the kids suffer. You can have kitniyot. Even if kitniyot mixes into their food on Pesach, it's not like chametz, chas v'shalom. There's laws of bitul. There are many leniencies by kitniyot that apply and should understand the difference between kitniyot and chametz. Chametz, there's no such leniency. If chametz mixes in your rice or chametz mixes in your food on Pesach, even a fil b'elef lo batel, 1 to 1,000 ratio, it's not batel, you have to get rid of it. But kitniyot mixes in for Ashkenazi, their nullification rules apply, 1 to 60, it can work and you cannot nullify it. Now there are many halachot that pertain to an Ashkenazi woman who marries a Sephardi man, a Sephardi woman marries an Ashkenazi woman, but the idea is kitniyot is not chametz, and it should not be treated as such. But we are strict with it when in certain circumstances, which is why we check for any chametz mixed in, and we are extra careful when it comes to consuming it. Have a wonderful day.